there's your trying to see here a little bit.
Okay, you want to set it right there. Good morning. I realize nobody's on quite yet. Still working at getting subscribers to be part of this. This is Jim with Regenerate, Don't Degenerate, part of Hardiness Approach. This is day 5 of the exercises that we're doing. And I'm going to spend a few minutes right now, for those of you who are looking at the recorded version of it, we'll get this. I've had a few requests about, you said you were going to be doing some chair exercises. Yes, I did. And my good intentions are that I'm going to somehow find time to do that outside of this normal recording time. And that's not a realistic expectation. So what I'm going to do, and for this week it's Friday, we'll see if it's Friday every week, and that probably makes sense, is to have Friday be the day that I'm going to do totally chair exercises. So everything that I've been doing during the week.
It's because he's all tuckered out.
That's not true. I've been doing all the exercises we've been doing for that week. Then I'm going to, on Friday, demonstrate as many of them as I can, the adaptations for doing them while you're setting, so that those of you who are restricted to setting for whatever reason, then you can definitely see the adaptations. And I won't, during the other 4 days, attempt to explain or encourage or whatever. I'm just going to leave it up to your intelligence to take what we're doing and to adapt it. And then on Friday, we'll see what we can do with them. And, you know, as I think about that, what may make sense is that I do it on Monday for what's going to happen during the week. And then during the week, Tuesday through Friday, I do them normal. That really makes sense. That way, those of you who are setting will have already seen the adaptations. I won't have to talk about them again. You won't have to guess what to do, and you'll be able to do it. That makes sense. So that's going to be the adaptation we can do now. For those of you who can stand, there may be times when setting is necessary. So that also helps you for that. What my goal is that all of us, whether we're setting or standing, needing a little bit of assistance with a chair, we're going to increase what we can do over time. And that's going to help us a lot. You may notice a different setting that I'm in. Those of you who have been watching us since at least before October will recognize this setting as being in Washington, D.C. when we were staying with Rinda's brother. And we're back for the weekend. They have some events going on this weekend, and that's just a short drive for us from Pittsburgh. So we came down for the weekend. We were going to come this afternoon after I finished working, but there is a storm predicted with 48 inches of snow and ice. Did not want to drive during that, so we opted to go last night when I got off work, got in here late in the evening, and now we're here this morning. What's nice about this is that their internet is like 10 times faster than ours. They have really good internet here. So that's going to help the quality of this video. So we still have a couple more minutes until 9 o'clock. I really don't want to start until 9. This is more of a talk time, a time for people who are watching for it to be on, to see it, be aware of it, and be able to join and get ready to go. Now, what I'm hoping is those of you who need pain medications have already taken those, so that you've got the pain medications on board prior to starting the exercise. And if you start to have those aches and pains coming, it's going to help dissipate those. Hopefully you've had quite a bit of liquid intake in the form of water, not juices, not milk, not coffee, not anything that's going to tend to have negative effects on what your body's needing to do and on your hydration. You want to be properly hydrated. Now, for me, once again, Rita and I, we're where we are, we're close to a great place for walking, and so we did a 30-minute walk, very brisk walk this morning. The temperature here is in the 60s, lower 60s. little bit of mist when we started walking, so it wasn't too bad, but a great 30 minutes of walking for warming up. Nevertheless, we're ready to start. For those of you just joining, this is Jim with Regenerate, Don't Degenerate, and Hardiness Approach, and we're going to get started with some warm-up. And as you can tell, I'm in a chair. Today, we're going to be totally doing all the exercises that I can from this week, adapt to chair routines. We're going to be doing in the chair. So we're doing a bit of warm-up right now, nothing extreme. You may want to go even slower than me, but we're getting our bodies warm. We're just trying to get warmed up. And we're going to do this for a while. And I'm going to talk to you while we're doing this about exercise and what it does for you. So many things I want to say. Where do I begin? My brain just starts jumping from one to the other about this is what you need to talk about. These are good ideas. These are things that they need to be considering. Exercise is fantastic. You know, I've always done a little bit of exercise sporadically throughout my life. But here a couple years ago, going into my third year, I decided to become a certified personal trainer. Not so much to train other people as to learn about exercise and how I could use it for myself to get greatest benefit, and for my wife, Brenda. Because we working to be healthy, to eat right, to eat the right kinds of foods, to do everything we can to keep ourselves healthy as we find our birthday number getting to be a larger and larger number. We don't want to grow old. Now, okay, I can't avoid it. It's eventually going to happen. But we want to be healthy as we do it. We want to be able to still do things. And we know that there are a lot of people who can. So we figured, well, perhaps there are ways that we can improve. And, you know, perfection, maybe. Improvement, absolutely. And that's what we're going for here. So instead of having you define for me the goals that you want to have, I'm doing different movements. So we're going to keep moving for 10 minutes. Just don't want you to get bored with anything. So we're going to do some side steps to keep ourselves going here, right? Kind of a dance, right? The goal that I'm setting for you, and if you can't keep up with what's going on here today, that's fine. But the goal that I'm setting is that you're going to work up to where you can do a half hour of moderate exercise, at least once a week, and then increase that to twice a week, 3 times a week, 5 times a week. I've said it before, I'll continue to say it until you know it and you're telling all your friends about it. The recommendations that we're hearing from the exercise community, the different agencies that are concerned about health and wellness, is that we need to have at least 150 minutes of moderate exercise a week. Now, that shouldn't be 150-minute session. It should be multiple sessions, but adding up to a total of 150 minutes. So if you're doing 5 times a week, that's 30 minutes a day. And that seems to be about the optimal to expect. But don't start there. If you haven't been exercising, you cannot expect to be able to start there. It's just not realistic at all. You're going to hurt yourself, and then you won't want to come back and do it again. So if you can do a minute, do a minute. If you can do 5 minutes, do 5 minutes. If you can do 15 minutes, do 15 minutes. Whatever amount you can do, you do. And if you can do it in 10-minute blocks, start with 10-minute blocks and do 3 of them during the day. Work up to that. But the point is that you keep working to increase it. But don't expect that you're going to start on Monday doing 5 minutes and by Friday you're going to be doing 30 minutes. Don't expect that next week you're going to go from doing 5 minutes a day to doing 30 minutes a day. Don't rush yourself like that. Take your time, work up to it. So maybe you'll add 30 seconds a day. Maybe one day you won't be able to do as much as you did the last time that you did it. Keep at it, keep persistent. And over time, you're going to make the improvements. Now, a little bit of plug for hardinessapproach.com. That's our website where it's in its infancy. It has some good information on there. You can find out more about some of the healthy eating recommendations that we have, things that we've learned, things that have worked for us. We've researched them. They're not something that we've invented. It's something we've discovered. So we're not the only source of that information, but we're sharing what we have found that works. And think about it. Your body is a result of what you eat. So if you eat good, your body's good. If you eat bad, your body's bad. That's kind of really simple terms, but that's certainly the reality that's there. That we see foods as having negative nutrition and positive nutrition. Negative nutrition means your body has to work to process it and doesn't get anything out of it. So you expend your bodily resources to process this food, which is going to hurt you if it doesn't help you. So foods have got to help more than they hurt. And that's where the positive nutrition comes in, as if it's more, the more it helps and the less it hurts, the more positive it is. Makes sense, right? And it's a matter of learning which of those foods are going to do that for you, okay? So how's that for a warm-up? Are we feeling warmed up? That's about half of what we should do. But this may be a shorter session today. It's Friday. We might take a little bit of a break. So we're warmed up. You might want to do a little more warm-up when you get going better at it. And as we get further into this, we're going to do that. I find it's pretty hard to warm up in a chair. Some of the movements just aren't as easy as we like them to be. So we're going to start top to bottom so we kind of keep track of where we are working on our body. And I'm going to attempt to do as many of the exercises that we did this week as I possibly can. So we're going to start by doing a neck exercise. Let's remember, this is still our posture time. We're not slumping. We're sitting up straight. We have our shoulders back. We want to keep our shoulders back, and we're engaging our core. At some point, I'm going to go through the details on engaging our core, exactly what that means. I don't like to start there because we'll talk about it. I'll encourage you to do it. But if you get very technical about it and you're focused on that, you're not doing the exercises and you're not enjoying them as much. So we're not going to go into that. So, okay, first thing, we're going to put our head down, chin to chest. We're holding it down there. Our shoulders are back. We're sitting up straight, core engaged, and we are breathing. We're keeping our breath going. Because guess what? Of all the things your body needs, oxygen is a big one. You can eat right, have plenty of liquid, but if you don't breathe, you got a problem. Of course, you knew that, didn't you? But when you're exercising, sometimes there's a tendency to hold your breath, depending on your movements, and you don't want to do that. You want to keep the breath going. And as we start getting, let's put our head up to the top, as we start doing more difficult exercises, breathing at the right time is going to be helpful. Keep our rhythm. So let's put our heads back. This is hard for Jim to talk with his head back. It wants to come forward when I open my mouth, so that's kind of funny, huh? So we're just looking at back. You can look at the ceiling, you can close your eyes, whatever is the best for you, but we're tipping our head back probably a little further than we've been tipping it back earlier in the week. We're finding that we're getting a bit of flexibility there, and that's a great thing. That's a fantastic thing. Because guess what we do? We do a lot of looking, and when we're looking, let's take our heads back up to the top. We don't want to have to do this kind of thing to look around. I mean, that's okay if we're trying to exercise, but if we're trying to see something, it's a lot easier to turn our head. Sometimes it's not convenient to turn our whole bodies. So let's put our head to the right. Remember, we're keeping our shoulders back, keeping our posture upright, core engaged, head to the right side. And we're sitting there and somebody's walked into the room and looked at us and they're thinking, that's weird. But guess what? This is doing us some good, isn't it? It's helping us get that flexibility in our neck so that we can be able to look around and move around like we need to. You know, this is also an important part of balance. because your balance mechanisms are in with your inner ear in there. And if you can move your head, if the muscles there, spring it up to the middle, are flexible and strong, then you're better able to compensate with your head as you need to, the movements you need to do. Let's go to the left side, so that you can help maintain your balance. So all parts of your body, all muscles of your body interact. Even the sensitivity on your skin, there's a connection between what you touch and your balance, that especially in your feet. And as you lose those sensitivities and the efficiencies in your muscles all over your body, when you try to compensate for balance issues, it's not there. And so we need to improve. I'm leaning my whole body. We want to sit up straight. Sorry, that was really a poor example. Don't do that. That's not how you lean your head. Your head is leaned by going like that, right? You got the head over there. I think I'm having some stiffness in here, so I need to work on that a bit. That's what we're doing, right? Getting that work on. I think I mentioned that the other day, so it's still there. I'm going to keep working at it and we'll get it taken care of. So we're going to do some shoulder raises. Just kind of shrug. Doing some shrugs. Now, if you find you can't do things as long or as many as what I'm doing, that's fine. Pause and then start again. But if you want to pause the video, you can pause the video, especially those of you who are looking at the recorded version of it. Pause it and catch up. Or if you want to do more, then pause it when I get to the end and you do a few more, if that's what you need to do. We all need to go at our own pace, whether it's slower or faster, more or less. We gotta do what we can do. We gotta make the most of what we have. That's really what we have to keep in mind. A couple more of these. We're doing these old shoulder shrug things, right? Isn't that great? Okay, next we're gonna do the rotation of the shoulders. We're making some big circles with our shoulders, and we're going forward now, okay? Now make it as big as you can, but don't overdo it. Don't hurt yourself. Remember, we're setting up straight. We're keeping our core engaged. I have to breathe, talk. You're not talking, but you got to keep breathing, okay? Keep that breath going. A few more going forward, and then we're going to reverse the direction. Okay, get ready to reverse. Now we're going backwards with those rolls. How's that feeling for you? And this works on a lot of different parts, mostly on your shoulders, but there's some advantage going on in your back, and that's kind of what we're working up towards. We're trying to get you prepped for some of the other exercises we're eventually going to do. So you may think, oh, Jim, these are really simplistic things. Well, I don't know where everybody is exercise-wise. So I'm starting with the simplest. Okay, let's kind of let that relax a bit. So I start with the simple ones that I know are helping you. We're working on our posture. We're working on our core, getting that engaged. And we're also starting to work muscles that maybe haven't worked a lot in preparation for the more advanced kind of exercises that are going to do us the best good. And that's what we're working towards. So keep that in mind. And we're going to go at a slow, steady pace in our space in hopes that eventually we can do more. Now, I realize that for different people, there is going to be a level at which you just can't get more than. And I get it. And when you get to that point, you're to that point. And it's different for everybody. But go to that point and continue to exercise there consistently. And if you can ever make any increases to that, make increases to that. If you use what you got, you're going to retain it the longest, and it's going to do the most for you. So just how it is. Okay, let's take our arms out here. We're that big condor birds, okay? Let's kind of do some circles with our hands. We're going forward right now. Now, you can do some big circles if you want. Or some little circles. Now let's go back. Little circles back. Little circles back. Some bigger circles now. Nice big circles. Okay, how's that feeling? Is that helping at all for you? So hands over our heads and down with our hands. We're keeping our shoulders to our elbows still, and we're just bending at our elbows as we go up and down. Now this is important to keep your posture right. This is doing a little bit of work on your scapular area as well as on the lower parts of your arm. Once again, I'm really trying to work on as many parts of the body as we possibly can. Okay, that's enough of those. One that we didn't do with during the week, but we're gonna do it now. Put our hands out straight in front of us, thumbs up, and we're gonna pull in. This is kind of like a row, okay? This is a pulling motion that we're doing. So think you're pulling, keeping that core engaged, and we're continuing to breathe. How's that doing for you? Hopefully that's doing you some good and that's helping out a bit. Making you feel good. Okay, we're going to do some trunk twists. Now, obviously our pelvis isn't going to be tilting this time. This is going to be totally just our upper body is twisting around. Pelvis is staying distinctly in place. Go as far as you can without forcing it and hurting yourself. Go at a slower pace than I am if you have to. That's fine. Now, for those of you who really like exercise and are doing a lot and you're saying, boy, Jim, you're taking it slow, you're taking it easy, I suggest these exercises that we're doing here, you use as your warm-up. And then you can go into your vigorous, big girl, big boy exercises that you like to do. And that's fine. Keep your body reminded of good posture, good form. Then when you're doing your exercises, they're going to be more good and you're going to have less chance of hurting yourself. I'm not wearing the right pants. We didn't bring the right clothes with us today, so mine are a little bit hard to do the stretching in. Right now, we're going to spread our feet apart and we're going to lean forward, hands towards the ground. Probably, if you haven't been, you need to be more up on the edge of your chair if it's possible. If it's not possible, that's fine. Just let yourself hang down. Let your body go. Don't try to hold it back. If it drops lower, great. That's what we're wanting to see happen. If it doesn't, that's fine. Be patient. Keep at it. Keep doing this consistently. And this is one you could do during the day if you find yourself being a little bit tired, maybe feeling kind of stiff in the back and so forth. This is a great one to help get that back relaxed out a bit and stretched out a bit, make some improvements. I'm going to let it hang down a little bit longer so that we can get it stretched to the maximum. It's going to stretch if you've done all you can do, go ahead and sit up and relax. If you're still feeling okay about it, let it hang down more. My fingers are getting closer to the floor, just by little bits I can tell. Okay, I'm going to go up very slowly. This is, we've had our head down below our heart, most likely, or close to it. So it's important that we bring ourselves up slowly when we do that. So it's pretty important. For this next one, we're going to sit back a bit in our chair so that we have balance. And in fact, probably easier if you have your back against the back of the chair. So have your feet, you start with them flat on the floor. And we're going to pick this leg up and let's pull it back as far as we can. As far as we can. And we're going to kind of hold it there as best as we can. Try to get some stretch here in these hamstring guys. It's important that we do that. We're going to hold it up here for enough time to really make a difference in how that's stretching out. If you can only pull it this far, that's fine. Pick it up as far as you can. We're going to keep working at that so you can get it up more and more and more. That's the idea. We're working on that to get it more and more. So let it down. Let's do the other one. Bring it up as far as you can. I'm going to bring it up here where I can. I'm going to hold it there. there. It's feeling good, isn't it, to get it stretched out? Really just peeked around the corner to look at me to be sure I was still doing something, not just talking. Okay. Now, I got to do some more learning about what we can do with those kinds there. But I want to do, this is a little bit of aerobic, and it's going to kind of look like the warm-up that we were doing. But we're going to pick our knees up as high as we can. Still trying to keep our posture up straight. We're sitting straight. Now, sitting down, there are some limitations on what we can do, and that's unfortunate. But we're going to do as much as we possibly can here. So pick them up high. Pick them up high. Okay, and the next thing, if some people who are restricted to chairs and setting can actually stand up. Some can't. I get it. And so this next one, if you are a chair-bound person who has no ability to stand up, I guess this is a rest time, or maybe there's some adaptation. If you like, if you're in a wheelchair and there's no way for you to stand up, why don't you try doing on your hands, kind of push. I don't have any hands here, but kind of push yourself up like this. So you're actually working on your arms. In this case, your arms are more valuable to you than your legs are. And you probably know this already, so I'm not telling you anything you don't know. But for those of you who are sitting and can stand, or would like to be able to stand better, let's practice the stand-up thing. So you might have, if you have armrests, that's fine. If you don't, you can put them down here. But we're going to just do the stand-up. Okay, do a few of those. And if you can only walk forward, that's fine. Let's just do the walk forward and try to push up with your legs. Try to push up with your legs. Push up with your legs. So we're leaning forward and pushing ourselves up. Leaning forward and pushing ourselves up. Okay, that should be enough for a good starting today. So, the next thing we want to do, we're going to do some flexibility. You know, we can do both at once, can't we? Because we're setting, we don't have to worry about falling over, so we kind of gain some time. So point our toes, pull them back as far as we can. Pull them back as far as we can. Push them down, pull them back. Working on flexibility here, that's going to help us. We're going to do these one at a time because I know it can be really tough to do two at a time. Put it out, and we're going to spin it in a circle. So like 5 times one direction, 5 times the other direction. And those of you who are watching say, Jim, you're so uncoordinated with your ankles. Yeah, was that 4? Sorry. That's 5, okay. Same thing here. I'm going to get better at this, I promise. I'm moving my whole leg. Leg stand still. Okay, around the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hope you're cheering for me to get to where I can do that better. That's so embarrassing. And one other one that I want to show you, and I don't do this very often, but hopefully you can see my feet. If you can't, I'm going to explain it as best I can. This is challenging to do. What I want you to learn how to do is to move your toes individually. And you're going to have to help them. You know, I can move all my toes at once, but what I'm trying to learn to do is move them one at a time. That increases your muscular control, and from a balance perspective, that's really important. So we're going to start with our big toe, and I'm going to take my fingers and I'm going to just pull it up to show it that it can move by itself. And then the next toe over, same thing. We're going to do this with all of our toes. You're saying, wow, Jim, this is kind of silly. Well, This is another one of those. You do it, and you do it, and you do it. Okay, that's the second to the last toe. We're almost to our little bitty pinky. Well, I'm sure these all have names, don't they? If somebody knows the names of the different toes, share it. I don't know what the names are. So we're just doing 5 times up and down with each toe, okay? Now we're going to switch feet. Doing the big toe. Next toe. 4, 5, next toe. 3, 4, 5, almost done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last toe, the little pinky toe on the second foot. Okay, so we exercised. We couldn't really exercise the top of our head, but we started where we could, and we went all the way down to our toes. So that is the top to bottom. So for relaxing, when we're sitting in the chair, this is going to be more in our head that we do, but we're going to hang our hands down. Let's go ahead and get up on the front. We're not going to be slumping back and all that. We're going to still try to sit up straight. We're going to close our eyes. We're going to let our hands hang down. We're going to relax our shoulders. Now you have your eyes closed so you can't see what I'm doing, but you can peek. We want to relax in here. Let that part relax. Just let it relax. We're breathing in, breathing out. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Now this is where I need to have that nice soft music playing, right? I need to figure out how to do that, the way I can do that, so I can bring the music in the way I want it. I'm going to put a soundtrack together for this, because I know which exercises I'm doing when, and I've got some good music that's okay for me to use on YouTube. They'll let me use. It's not necessarily exercise music traditionally, but I think it could help us. It could add to this, right? Make this a little bit more enjoyable experience. As we continue to relax, let me say a couple more things. Be sure, if you haven't subscribed, to subscribe. There's a subscribe button at the end. I also have a block on there with my picture on it. You can click on that to subscribe. You can go to our Hardiness Approach channel and get more information there. Also on the Hardiness Approach channel is a page for exercise. If you go there, down at the bottom there's a form. If you fill that out, I will send you information and updates about what we're doing with exercising, so that if you can't watch the video, you can get the email. Be reminded of it. Share this, please, with your friends. Bring a group together if you want to. That'd be a great thing. This is not going to quit. I'm going to be doing this every day. And I'm going to get this format figured out that makes the most sense as I get input from everybody about what you're liking, what you're wanting to see. Remember, keep those shoulders back. Keep yourself up straight, core engaged. We're just trying to relax our shoulders and breathe in and cooling down here. You can continue to cool down. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate this. This is a great thing. Remember, our intention is to regenerate our bodies, to regenerate those muscles, get them working, all of them working, get them to increase in strength and increase in size. And in fact, as we get going further with more of these, we'll increase our muscle mass. Research is showing that those with greater muscle mass live longer and healthier, period. There's just, the difference is stark from what they discovered with all their research. And as we do the more intense exercises that we'll eventually get to, it's also going to cause your bone density to increase. It's going to force your bones to compensate for what you're asking them to do, and they're going to start to regrow, regenerate. That's really what it's all about. If you don't use them, they degenerate. If you use them, and use them correctly, they will regenerate. That's where we're going with this. If you have greater muscle mass to where you have all that control and strength and balance and power, and your your bones are more dense, you're not going to fall. Every part of you is going to be strong and capable. You're not going to fall apart. You're not going to have those things happen to you to keep you from being able to sustainably live in place. That's what this is all about. Regenerate and sustainably live. That's what you want to do. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your comments. Take care.